Larry Bird and John Wooden. Odds are these are the first two names that come to mind when you hear Indiana State basketball. But what about Clarence Walker? He became a Sycamore back in 1946, but little did we know that he would leave a lasting legacy in the civil rights movement. It's a legacy his son Kevin is still sharing today. Clarence Walker was never one for the spotlight. Just ask his son Kevin Jordan Walker how often his dad talked about his time at Indiana State.
He never really told too many people about it, didn't really tell us about it, but you know, as kids, you're being inquisitive, so you start looking at photo albums and you start seeing things, and then we start asking questions to him. And that's when we really found out, you know, he played for John Wooden.
In the mid-1940s, Clarence made the 3-hour drive from East Chicago down to Terre Haute, Indiana, in hopes of getting his degree, playing college basketball, and returning home to his friends and family. Walker had no intentions of being famous, but in 1947, with a young John Wooden at the helm, he became a face for the civil rights movement when the NAIB refused to let ISU play in their tournament with Walker on their team. Years later, Clarence's story of oppression would be his son's first glimpse of social injustice.
The first reaction was stunned, because we grew up in the neighborhood of all nationalities and cultures. So a lot of the discrimination, a lot of the racial tension and whatnot, we were kind of oblivious of.
The following year, the NAIB lifted their ban and allowed African Americans to play. And in 1948, Clarence Walker became the first African American college basketball player to play in a postseason national tournament. But it's the message of unity that still sticks with his son.
You can be solo, or you can have a team. He was part of a team. The coach was the head of the team, and what one got, they all got. That's huge. That's commitment. That shows the character not only of the coach, but of the players to even buy into the thought process of colorless.
It's been over 70 years since Clarence made history at ISU, and when his story found its way to one local organization here in Terre Haute, the founders reached out to Kevin to see how they could honor his father's memory.
I was really thinking about how we can capture John Wooden and his time in Terre Haute. And in studying John Wooden, I came across the Clarence Walker story, and I just became amazed and moved by the story.
It was surprising that I got the call from Gary and Logan. It was very surprising, but I took it as a challenge. And after we talked on the phone, it was just crystal clear this is something that I had to do.
Symbolizing the barriers that stand before us, Kevin broke through the wall and made his shot. Kevin Jordan Walker, son of Clarence Jordan Walker, a man determined to be defined by his actions, not his skin color, as he continues his father's legacy.
I've learned so much. Kevin has actually turned into a role model of mine. He's just a great guy, strong values, hard work ethic, all around great man and role model for myself and so many other people.
When it comes to Black Lives Matter, and people say, well, all lives matter, black is part of all. So if something is happening to black, it's really happening to us all in one way or the other. So when people see it, they will understand.